Candice Cohen was a French Jewish woman who became the first wife of Prince Sattam, a member of the Saudi royal family. Initially, they appeared to have an incredible love and a luxurious life, and they were blessed with a beautiful daughter. However, it wasn't long before Candice's life turned into a nightmare. Why did the Saudi prince treat his wife so brutally? Why did he kidnap their daughter and forbid her from seeing her mother? And what is the real truth behind Candice's tragic ending? Watch the full video to find out. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon to get notified as I upload a new video. Let's go on. The wives of Arab sheikhs often enjoy a life of luxury, with husbands showering them with money, gifts, and everything they could ever wish for. But behind this glamorous facade, many face a far darker reality. What appears to be a life of comfort and happiness can quickly turn into a living nightmare. For instance, Zainab Javadli, a famous gymnast, married Emirati Sheikh Saeed bin Maktoum, dreaming of a fancy life in a big palace. But after 5 years, they divorced, and she shared a heartbreaking video where she was crying and asking for help, expressing fears for her life and the well-being of her children. Another example is Randa Albana, a Lebanese woman who married the ruler of Dubai in the 1970s. At first, everything seemed glamorous. They had a daughter, and she believed she was living a fairy tale. But when she asked for a divorce, she was forced to leave Dubai, while her daughter was left behind. Since then, Randa has been unable to see her child. These are only a few of many similar stories. And tragically, Candice Cohen found herself trapped in a similar nightmare. When her marriage to Prince Sattam ended, he kidnapped their daughter and refused to let Candice see her again. So how did everything start? Candice was born in 1977 in France into a Jewish family. Her father was a businessman who owned several hair salons in the French Riviera, while her mother was a housewife. Candice excelled academically and earned her law degree from the prestigious Sorbonne University in Paris. After graduating, she took on different small jobs, spending much of her time assisting in her father's salons. When Candice was 19, during a vacation to London with a friend, she met Prince Sattam in a nightclub. They hit it off almost immediately, and at first she didn't even know who he was. Prince Sattam is a member of the ruling royal family of Saudi Arabia. He is the grandson of Prince Nasser bin Abdulaziz, who was the governor of Riyadh. The prince was tall, had brown skin, and a good physique. Candice was captivated by his charm, and their relationship grew very quickly. But there was one obstacle: her religion. To her surprise, the prince assured her that it would not be a problem, claiming he was also Jewish and calling it a family secret. Of course, this was a lie. Soon after, they got married in secret. At first, he showered her with expensive gifts, romantic dinners, and extravagant holidays, dividing their time between the French Riviera, Cairo, and Beirut. But it wasn't long before everything began to change. When Candice became pregnant with Sattam's child, he was reportedly unhappy and forced her to have an abortion in an Egyptian hospital without her consent. Devastated, she even attempted to take her own life. Yet the prince managed to manipulate her into reconciling, even persuading her family. Candice later said, "He was a great manipulator. He knew exactly what to say, and he was very, very strong." Shortly afterward, she became pregnant again. This time, the prince seemed overjoyed, but on the day of the birth, he was absent, partying in London. In 2001, their daughter Aya was born. Candice and her daughter initially stayed in France, but later moved to Beirut, where Sattam provided them with everything. They lived in a luxurious palace with bodyguards, drivers, and every comfort imaginable. Eventually, they relocated to Sattam's family home in Riyadh. There, the prince informed Candice that he was being forced to marry one of his cousins and that she could only remain as a second wife. Candice firmly refused. From that point on, the prince became increasingly authoritarian and violent. One night, when she refused to make love with him, he slapped and raped her. She also endured abuse from his mother, who demanded that Candice do everything her son wanted. Candice couldn't bear the situation and successfully returned to France with her daughter, Aya. In 2008, Prince Sattam asked her to come to Riyadh so he could see their daughter. At first, Candice refused, but after her daughter pleaded, saying, "Please, Mom, say yes," she reluctantly agreed, despite warnings from family and friends. That's where the nightmare began. Upon arrival, the young mother had her passport confiscated and was imprisoned in a small room in the palace. Her daughter was taken from her. The room was filthy and lacked even the most basic amenities. There was no clean drinking water, only tap water, which is considered unsafe for consumption in Saudi Arabia. Whenever Candice saw her daughter, she witnessed the child being beaten in front of her. To make matters worse, the Saudi royal family accused Candice of being a Muslim who had converted to Judaism, a charge that could carry the death penalty under Saudi law. Terrified for her life, Candice eventually escaped, reportedly when a maid left a door open. She made her way to the French embassy and from there fled back to France. Tragically, she could not bring her daughter with her. Since then, she has been engaged in a long legal battle to try to see her daughter again. She spent years seeking help from the French government and humanitarian organizations. She also gave interviews to French media, speaking openly about her ordeal and trying to raise awareness of her situation. She even wrote a book about her struggle, titled "Give My Daughter Back," where she shared her desperate efforts to be reunited with her daughter. She expressed deep concern after seeing Facebook photos of Aya wearing a niqab and playing with her father's firearms. Prince Sattam denied ever kidnapping Aya or Candice. Instead, he accused Candice of demanding €2 million in exchange for giving up custody of their daughter. In January 2012, a Paris criminal court ordered the prince to give Aya's custody to her mother and to pay €10,000 a month in child support. But Sattam made it clear he would never obey this decision. He declared, "Let me remind you that my daughter is a member of the Saudi royal family. She's a Saudi citizen and a princess. No one can force a princess to leave this country. If necessary, I will hide in the mountains like Osama bin Laden and take my daughter with me." Following the court ruling, Candice prepared to travel to Riyadh in September 2012 to see Aya for the first time in more than 3 years. But tragically, on August 16th, she was found dead after falling from the 4th floor of her building in Paris. The police ruled her death an accident. A witness reported seeing her trying to move from one window to another. However, French media suggested that she had fallen as if she was trying to escape something dangerous. A few days before her death, Candice told relatives that she felt threatened. Even her lawyer stated, "What I can tell you is that it wasn't a suicide. The pain of her separation from her daughter had left its mark, but she was also a fighter, convinced that she would see her daughter again." To this day, her death remains shrouded in mystery. Tragically, Candice never got to see her daughter again, and Aya's current whereabouts remain unknown. We can only hope she is safe somewhere. Do you believe Candice's death was truly an accident, or is there something more behind it? Share your thoughts in the comments. And that's it. If you enjoyed the video and want more like it, be sure to leave a thumbs up below in appreciation. And if you haven't already, you really want to subscribe. Subscribe to my channel and tick the bell icon so you get notified as I upload a new video every week. See you in the next video.